Hello and welcome back to another episode here at RV's Toy Box. Today, got something cool for you. I was searching around on the internet and I came across this guy right here, as you probably saw in my intro, which I had a lot of fun making. But this, I just got curious because if you followed the channel at all, you know that the big Power Wheels, the custom wheelchair that I built from the ground up, it was on a Hover-Round chassis. And with the Hover-Round chassis, it had a large controller. I mean, it was a big unit. And so I actually couldn't find any authentic, controllers. So I got a video game one from, I think, Goodwill or something like that. And I gutted it and I used the wires and actually wired the different buttons and stuff physically into the wheelchair so I could operate my bubble blowers and everything else that I have in my custom wheelchairs. Now that one, as the story goes, was so big and it was really difficult to transport. Kind of took a year off from going anywhere and I just gutted it and rebuilt it into the XYZ 9000 that you want to check out the YouTube channel and go down a little bit. You'll find the video on the XYZ 9000 and a couple of others that I've done along the way. But this one's pretty cool. It's got the bubble blower still. It's got the 19-inch flat screen TV in the back. It's got a 1,000 watt stereo system on it, which you can hear me coming. I'm just saying, it's a pretty loud system. But, I kept thinking I really would like to get, something like this to put on this wheelchair. So, again, I was just fiddling around and I came across the vendor, creator. This is obviously 3D printed. There's going to be some vanity shots at the end, but I'm going to get you some close-ups here. But it's decent workmanship. I mean, if it was maybe covered in like a really thin rubber or something to give it a little bit more authenticity, if that's a good word for me to say. But it's but for what it is and a 3D print, it ain't bad. I'm just going to be honest with you. Now this is from the vendor on Etsy is called Granted Engineering. And it comes with a nice little instructions here. And I'm glad they did because the average person would try to put it on here and go, it don't fit, and they would send it back. And they make a lot of mentions on their page and on here. And I even think on here, you got to push down to make it work. Now they sent along a card that's got 2 holes in it. I don't know if you can see that or not. So you can kind of measure, which one do you have. Now, forgive me for saying this, but I think it's, you're getting this after you receive this. So it's like, if it's wrong, now you get to measure it. And I'm glad that they did something like this, but maybe this should be a printout beforehand so people can measure what size that they have, because otherwise they're going to spend a lot of time shipping these things out, for someone who doesn't know. I don't know. And I'm pretty good at sizing stuff, but I couldn't have looked at that and told you whether it was a 1/4 inch or 3/16. I would have needed something like that. But it's really cool that they've got that in there, you know, and stamped it that way. But these, all of these, this is, I don't want to say these are universal, but man, they're pretty close. But on these smaller chairs, they all use these little dorky things. And if you saw on their website, man, they've got a huge selection. I mean, huge. We're talking hundreds. I think it was like 288 pages worth of different things that they've created, from Santa Claus to baseball diamond, or, you know, baseballs and footballs. I think I saw on there. There's one even for people who have, you know, some, you know, hand grip issues, to where you just set it on there and move it around. I've seen that in some ability scenarios, but they have a huge selection. And of course, the links to all of that's going to be down below, because I suspect when you see just how cool this is, you're going to want one for yourself. And I've got obviously some followers here on RB's Toy Box that, you know, you're mobility challenged too. Now, I do get some comments sometimes, you know, it's like, we see your videos and you're all the time standing up. That's why we call it, boys and girls, mobility challenged. When I got, I'm going to call it got hit, because there's really no other way to put it. During Desert Storm, we transported a large amount of canned stuff. Chemical warfare agents, depleted uranium. I was an air transportation specialist. So anything that flew back and forth to the Gulf War came through my hands. I was stationed at Pope Air Force Base right outside of Fort Bragg, back when it was an Air Force base and not an Army airfield like it is today. But as a result, like I said, anything that got deployed, personnel, equipment, weapons, all of that stuff got literally moved through my unit. And I was attached to a specialty unit there that worked exclusively with the 82nd Airborne, dealing with weapons, dealing with blacklisted stuff, blah, 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 blah. Well, long story short, we weren't supposed to have chemical warfare agents in the Gulf, from my understanding. And so a lot of that stuff came back. You know, it's set over there for 2 years while the Army guys were blowing the snot out of it, taking target practice with their tanks. And, you know, a lot of the canisters were leaking. If not most of the canisters of those big 55-gallon drums were leaking something. But because it was blacklisted, we had no idea what it was. Long story short, I know from some of you are probably rolling your eyes at this particular point. Over a short period of time, it degraded my nervous system to the point where it created some serious fatigue issues, to where I can get up and walk, but the longer I'm up, the worse it gets, if you will. So I can go to the mailbox and back. I can even get to the entrance of Walmart from the parking lot. But that's about it. And then there's other issues too, where the nerve deterioration causes issues with everything from seeing stuff that's not there sometimes, not often, but dealing with stress and being in circumstances like that creates a seizure. So when I go out, and I'm going to be going to Disney World, a car show, SeaWorld, church sometimes, I have a small wheelchair or a walker. As you see back here, I have several walkers littered throughout the house in case I need one. And I have a cane, which some of you have seen, my custom cane, the Smart Cane, that also has a telephone on it. If I fall down, it automatically calls my wife, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. There's my quick story on why you all sometimes don't see me in a wheelchair and sometimes do. It's because not all people that are in wheelchair are permanently disabled. We are ambulatory, which means that we use it to get around because we can't walk long distances or we get really shaky, and I do fall down a lot. Now, let's continue on with this video. So this guy right here, again, close up here, one of the instructions that it tells you, there's a set screw on the front and there's a set screw on the rear. You don't really need them, I'm going to be honest. This baby goes on really, really tight. But when you go to put it on, you want to be careful. Number one, turn off your wheelchair. Number two, you want to hold on to the bottom or the base of this. Matter of fact, I'm going to lower the camera down a little bit so you can see a better close-up of the installation process. All right, so now that you got this piece pulled off, you know, like I said, it just pops right off of there. Then it's just a matter of taking this one. Now, this is really, really tight. Okay, I mentioned that before in the instructions and stuff, and you're going to want to be very, I don't want to say careful, because you're going to need to put a little manhandling in it to get it go all the way down in there. Now, where you want to have some extra fingers, right, or some soft, even padded pliers right here on the base, is that some of these controllers, I've taken quite a few of these apart. I've had quite a few of these wheelchairs over the last 30 years. And as a result, some of these are literally floating joysticks, okay? Now what that means is it doesn't come down here and sit on the bottom. It's literally floating by 4 screws that hold it in place. Now what that means is you go pushing and pushing and pushing on this thing, you're gonna possibly break those super skinny, thin brackets. So that's why you want to hold on to this and make sure that it's not going down too far. You're giving it some bracing, and just to make sure, right? Now, because you have the set screw on the front and the back, you can put a little lubrication on here if you want, a little lithium grease or a little WD-40, a little spit. That all works just fine. But basically what you want to do is hold on to the bottom there, and then center that up, and then push her down. Push, 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 push. And then what you are looking for is you want to get this far enough down to where, if you can see there, see how the rubber literally comes up to the base? That's what you want. You don't want it to be just barely on there, because that's going to be your first instinct, is just to put it on until you feel like it stops. Well, you probably don't have a big enough bite on it at that particular point, and then you're going to end up with a controller that is floppy. You want it to go down, you want it to be a good amount. It doesn't have to go like, oh, you know, just down to where that rubber piece is. And that rubber piece is usually in a little bitty of a notch. So some of them pull down, but this one has a notch in it, so you pretty much know when to stop. Then again, before you go to tighten it down, I want you to notice, see the play right here? That is not the controller, or this, that's this, okay? Now these things inherently have a little bit of play in it. You never feel that with this little bitty, you know, joystick knob that comes with it, because it spins freely practically anyway. But you'll feel it in this because it grips that so tight. So what you want to do is make sure you move that around so that it is comfortable, right, for how you're going to be using it. Then tighten the set screws down, okay? Now, if you're like me, you're probably going to be down here at the base of it anyway. That gives you more control when you're driving. But you know, if you come up here and you're like, pew, 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 well, you're going to do that. Or you sit at Walmart or whatever, and you see the people coming by acting dumb, you're going to be like, pew, pew, pew. So anyway, we're going to just, now that we got it kind of where we want it, now you can over tighten these, okay? So we don't want to over tighten it. We want to take it down until it feels snug, and then come on the back one and tighten it down until it feels snug. A little more, a little more, a little more. This one's got a little bit more travel on it. And that's it. Now let me move this back up so you can see my ugly face. You can see my wife's posters up there. This is my wife's section of the Arby's toy box. If you've seen some of the walkthrough videos I have, this is her game room. Pool table over here, got Snoopy and video games over there and stuff. She loves this room. And then her little cafe's over across the way. But this is also where I store the wheelchair, because I'm not taking it up and down stairs into Arby's toy box. But now we're done, right? Now we're ready to get out there and have a great time with our new controller. Let everybody go, man, where did you get that cool controller? And you can tell them, hey, I got it from Grand Engineering on Etsy, or Granted Engineering on Etsy. And for what this is, at the time of this video, is $50. and they have some on there a little bit cheaper. I didn't see if there was anything more expensive because honestly, once I saw this, I looked at his other stuff, but I didn't care. This is not one of those types of things that you keep swapping out because it's so tight. This is not one of those, you know what, I'm going to have this during, this month and just swap it out. Maybe in the future, Granted Engineering will create a base, listening, that will create a base that allows you to just unscrew a couple of pieces and pull off and then put the new one on and let the base continue to stay physically attached to the controller. Just saying. Maybe then you have one for baseball season, one for football season, because they got all that on theirs. But Granted Engineering is where you want to go on Etsy. And great communication. I've talked to them back and forth with a couple of messages. They send an instruction, minutes after you purchase it. So it seems to be a pretty good company. Made in the USA, but you definitely want to check them out. Stay here with me at RB's Toy Box. Got some other stuff planned, obviously, but I was so excited to be able to show this to you and, at the same time kind of show off some of my Top Gun stuff, right? I love my Top Gun stuff, and maybe even watch the other video that I put out the other day with my little having fun with this thing. But you know what? It's good to enjoy having an imagination. And I want you to enjoy having an imagination for yourself. Don't let limited mobility limit you. Man, do something crazy. Go and put, a big old flat screen TV on the back of your wheelchair like I did with mine. Put in some lights and bubble blowers and whatever you want to put. Man, have some fun. If you're going to be in a wheelchair, man, have some fun with it. I don't care if it's just a big old backpack that's got something cool on it or it lights up or whatever. Get out there, stay collecting, have a great time, and we'll see you soon here again on RB's Toy Box.
Step into the magic on my fun-filled stage. RB's Toy Box is great for kids of any age. From Star Trek to A-Team and retro toys too. Come join on my journey.